Hi there, I'm Natalie from Patchwork Creative, and today I'm going to show you a little bit of stone painting so we can make a nice little noughts and crosses set like this. Okay, so for today we're going to obviously make the little noughts and crosses set. So what you'll need for that is, I'm going to show you some examples in a minute. What you'll need is some acrylic paint or paint pens, which are what these are. These are acrylic pens. I find these a lot easier to use. 10 stones and a piece of, to actually play it on, I've got an old tile there. But you can use a piece of wood or a piece of denim fabric, just as long as it's, all we're going to do is just draw the noughts and crosses set on there. So that's just a nice set to have laying out on the table. So if I show you the different examples, I've got some plain ones here, which is just literally a nought and a cross. We had a fun set here, which is the Cookie Monster and some cookies, a nought and a cross, but with patterns. So if you pick two patterns, this is what I'm going to show you today, is the patterns. You're just going to basically do two sets of patterns, very simple, just spots and stripes. You can do anything you want to, but spots and stripes are a nice easy one to start with, and noughts and crosses on. As an alternative, for if you wanted to maybe do a younger age group, you've got here ladybirds. I mean, you could do just ladybirds of different colours, so you could have a green set and a red set, or various different colours. But there's a flower and ladybird, so they would be opposing teams, if you like, when you're playing. As long as it's distinctively different, and then you've got 5 of each, that's fine. As an alternative, if you can't find that many pebbles here, I've done this one on a piece of slate, which is just the gardens. A lot of people have got this in their garden for decoration. You just need 10 pieces of those and they'll play just the same. You just, obviously the size of those matters. So if they're that sort of size, you'll need a bigger piece of slate or piece of wood to play on. Or you could just play it on a piece of paper, as long as you draw a grid out. Okay, so what I'm going to show you today is these two patterned ones here. You start by selecting your, obviously I've got 10. I'm not going to do all 10 here. I'm just going to show you one of each. The idea is that you have 5 of this one and 5 of this one. So let me get some slightly bigger, well, I don't quite like the little ones, so you can see them. I'm going to go for the odd shape, overly type ones. There we go, let's get those. Right, so select your colour range here. Obviously I've just got like a teal and a red. I'll stick to the same ones because that will build on my set then. Right, so basically what you do is you just start to apply your pattern. So you go across here like this. I'm going to do, these are stripes. Spots and stripes look really effective and they're just a dead simple way. You could do all sorts of patterns, but if you've not done it before, that's a nice easy one to start with. You could pick opposing football teams, depending on the household, or you could do favourite colours for the children in your house, or anything really, just whatever your theme is up to you. I'm just, because I like these colours, there's no real reason. Okay, so I'm just going to go over and do the stripes on that one. Okay, if you pop these onto a radiator, they will dry quite quickly. Okay, so while that's drying, I'm going to do the blue for this one. Okay, now because I've put here, I've got a light colour underneath and a dark on top, I'm actually just going to colour the whole stone in first. I think this might be a slightly different colour that I've used on this one. That's fine. Okay, so I'm going to go with the whole thing, because the darker colour on top you can draw on top. It's always easy to put a dark colour on top of a light colour. The other way around is a bit tricky. Okay, so I've got those two bases down. Okay, I'm just going to let those dry. Once those have dried to the touch, you can also use a hairdryer. It doesn't have to be on the radiator. If you want to, if you're working in one, if you don't want to wait, you use a hairdryer on them. Okay, right, so if we go to this one, okay, what I'm going to do is just put my spots all over. Okay, you see, you don't actually have to put the noughts and crosses onto these if you don't want to. I am going to, but you could just do them as pattern stones if you didn't want to worry about the noughts and crosses. No. Depends on how much you want to put into these as a set, really, I suppose. The idea of this activity as well is quite nice, because you could actually just collect stones and just put patterns on them. You can stick to the same patterns, so you've got lots of sets, different ones to choose from for every game, or you could just have a bowl of nice pretty pattern stones, which I'm not opposed to at all. I think it looks quite nice. Okay, so this one is the teal, so I'm just going to draw inside those lines there. Now acrylic pens are the same as acrylic paints. They are quite forgiving, so they will go over. So if you've made a slight mistake, you can neaten it up. Acrylic paints over itself, so don't worry too much if you smudge it or make a little mistake. Just let it dry and you can go over it with the acrylic pens or the acrylic paint, whatever you're using. I think these are worth an investment, these pens, because you'll use them lots and lots and lots on different projects. And these are quite, I say, this is quite nice. You can also use them on things like bits of driftwood, smooth driftwood, bits of slate, bits of stone. They're quite nice for a quick project. You don't have to worry about having water and brushes to hand. Okay, that's that one. So that's the basic stripes done. Okay, so we're just going to dry those off. Okay, right, now I'm going to just quickly go around these with the black. I've done 2 coats of the white, that dried, and I've done it again because it was a bit too thin. So now you literally outlining these. It just makes them jump out a bit better, I think. Here to use to make a baseboard, I've just got an old tile and I've just marked out a basic grid. You can use a bit of fabric, a little bag, little Hessian bag, and draw the grid on the bag so the stones go in the bag, or you could just do a piece of denim that's edged, or a piece of any sort of fabric really, but I quite like this stone. What this is nice, this just sits in the middle of our table at home and it's there ready to play at any time. You can also use it as a pot stand, and that's basically it. And there's your pieces to play noughts and crosses. Have a nice time, enjoy doing the patterns, look forward to seeing the results.